Nick, if someone was interested in building an income stream from property that would allow them to leave their jobs within the next 12 months or thereabouts, and wanted to know why they should be listening to you today, what would you tell them?
Um, okay, well, that's quite an opening question. There's well, I think there's lots of things. One of the main things I guess for myself is I've done lots of great things, but I've done lots of things not very well as well. So what I would say is I can tell people the things not to do as well as some of the things maybe they should look at doing as well. So, and that's always part of the challenge, of course. You know, you've got to make your mistakes along the way. Um, I've also done quite a wide range of different things in property. So I started off many moons ago doing something called sell and rent back, which is now you can't do unless you're regulated, but that actually worked really well. I've done title splitting. I've split buildings to flat conversions. I've used lease options. I've done rent to rent. I've done single lets. I've done multi lets. I've done all sorts of stuff really. So the thing I've done more recently that I found worked really well was I focus on LHA strategies. So that's housing allowance tenants, and I started doing that on a rent to rent basis, and I think rent to rent can work really well. So I've got a whole range of things that I've done, and I think that's something that I'm happy to share with people. And if people can get something from me along those lines, then I'm very happy to share that.
Brilliant. And just to clarify, when you say rent to rent, what do you mean by that for those who don't know?
Well, rent to rent is effectively a way of getting income from property without owning the property yourself. So you're renting from the owner, and then you're renting it out in turn. So the way I've done it in the past, a lot of people do this with, you can choose whatever sector of tenant you want, whether you do it with professional tenants, housing allowance tenants, students, whatever. Effectively what you do, you rent the property off the landlord. You've got an arrangement, a management agreement, whichever way you set it up with them, and then you in turn rent it out to use your tenants. So you organise, you manage the property, you get the tenants in, but the way you do it is by being clever with the way that you rent out. You obviously, the aim is you getting more income in from the tenants than you're paying the landlord. But you do it in such a way that the landlord's happy, you give him a guaranteed rent in such a way that he's not going to get any voids. You rent it out, so you're making a margin each month. You've got to do the work, of course, and get it set up, or you can get someone else to do the work for you. But you're making that margin on that each month. So it's a very good way of getting going. The nice thing about that is you don't have to pump a lot of money in that you would if you were putting in for a deposit, if you're buying a property, for example. So it's a low cost way of getting going.
So you're essentially almost acting like a specialist type of letting agent, as it were.
Yeah, yes, yeah, you are. And also, by doing this, you learn a hell of a lot about management of property, about tenants, about lettings, about what landlords are looking for, and about investment generally. It's a really, really good way of learning and dipping your toe in the water without a massive outlay of money as well.
Okay, great. Well,